Hi everyone, Meg here from Untitled Stamping, and today we are going to be making the cutest little card ever. I love this card so much, and there's really three things that I love about it. I love the stamp set that we're going to be using, and it's actually part of a bundle, so it comes with coordinating dies. It's called Cheerful Basket. I'm going to be using this sentiment that I love, along with this cute little basket, and then I'm going to go with the apples. I love the apples. Then second favorite reason I like it is I'm going to be using this cool die right here. This is called the split card textures, and it comes in a set of two. To be honest, this is the only one I've used, but I've used it so many times already. So what it's going to do is it's going to cut the lines. It's not going to cut the outer perimeter. It's just going to cut this little grid on part of our cardstock. It is a super fun die. And then the third thing I love about this card is we're going to be doing some coloring using some Stampin' blends. Yay, love Stampin' blends. In fact, I love them so much, we just started a whole series on them in Stamping Family, from what they are to what they're not. There's a whole video just on using the color lifter, whole one on different ways of just putting tone on tone. Anyway, I could gush about that forever, and the members are loving it. So anyway, that's not what we're here for, even though I could talk about it forever. The first thing we're going to tackle is our stamping. So I'm going to bring in some basic white cardstock. This is a photopolymer stamp set, so I'm going to be using a mat underneath my cardstock. And we're going to start with the stamping of my images, and then we'll move on to our sentiment. Because I'm going to be using Stampin' blends with my images, I'm going to be using Tuxedo Black ink. Start with, doesn't matter which one, the apples, I guess, because that's what I picked up first. Get that good and stamped. Ta-da! And then I'm going to stamp our basket. Make sure I've got good coverage on that stamp. Actually, I don't feel like I do. On that one edge. That looks much better. And stamp. Ta-da! Awesome sauce. All right, now let's go ahead and get our sentiment stamped. So for that, I'm going to be using some real red ink and that sentiment that comes from the same stamp set. And we're gonna take this, ink it up really well, and stamp it also onto some basic white cardstock. Now there's not a die for this one. We're going to do some cutting with it, but there we go. All of our stamping is done. The next thing I'm going to do is our die cutting, so I can move some of my supplies out of the way. All right, so here we go. I'm going to be using a thin die, and I will be honest, check this out. Look at these crisp, brand new plates. I'm going to follow the instructions on this one, because instructions are good when it comes to die cutting machines. I've got a piece of basic white that's going to be 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. The only thing I did ahead of time, and you can see it right about here, is I put an adhesive sheet on the back. So what I did was I made this piece of cardstock into a giant sticker. I'm going to take our most awesomest background die ever. I love this one. I'm going to put it up into that left-hand corner. Don't have a magnetic platform to hold it in place, so I'm just going to use some low-tack adhesive tape that I got from Sizzix. Love this tape. Another plate on top, and we're going to run it through. Oh, there's nothing like cutting into plates for the first time. Because I'm cutting through 2 layers, remember I have that adhesive sheet under it. I'm gonna go backwards with it as well. We're gonna take this off. We're gonna do some test pokes with it. Make sure that all the little bits and pieces are gonna come out, and they're going to, so that's fun and good. We get to move that out of the way. Then we're gonna bring in our basket and our dies that go along with that. We'll steal back this piece of adhesive tape. I reuse them all the time. Gonna line this one up, and we'll stick it down. We'll line this one up. And kind of stick it down. I'm gonna add another piece to that. That'll make me feel better. I'm gonna put this plate back on top. I'm getting rid of all the little pieces that came off from that other die, and we're stuck to that. Oh, looky here. So see how it shifted a bit? If you see it shift a bit before it's even in your machine, it is gonna shift more when it comes out the other side, I promise. So always take an extra second. Now I've got all these pieces on there again. Take an extra second, make sure it's good and lined up before you send it on through. Then we have our perfectly cut apples and our cute little basket. Ta-da! All right, so I get to move the machine out of the way, and I'm also going to go over to my trash can and get all the little pieces out of this die cut. So I will be back in 2 seconds. All right, also while I was away, I went ahead and cut out my sentiment with my scissors. So we have that ready to go. I have the apples in the basket, and then we have this fabulous piece. I mean, look how cool that is. Actually, it's gonna look even cooler when we put it on the card base. So let's go ahead and do that so I can show you just the beautifulness of all of this. So I'm going with Granny Apple Green. Get this peeled up. See, so it's just a giant sticker. I just remove the backing. I'm gonna take this, and I have this little piece that didn't pop all the way out. And I'm gonna take it and add it onto my card front. Now look how cool that looks. I love this die, and because we have adhesive all the way around, none of it is popping up. It just is gonna stay nice and flat for us. I'm super excited. Okay, so we can go ahead and take this and make it into a card. Just by folding it in half, and there we go. Okay, now let's do some coloring. I love using Stampin' blends because they're super fast. I'm going to do my, what I call the light dark method, or the dark light method. I've got several different ways that I was teaching in Stamping Family. We're gonna start with my darkest. And this is gonna stay pretty dark under here. Bring it in from the sides. Then I'm gonna work with my lightest and have those colors meet up. Ta-da! So we've got our darker areas on the side and our lighter area in the middle. We're gonna continue that. Sometimes I'll work a whole project at a time, but normally I go section by section. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do on this side, and then I'll speed up the video on the other side. So you don't have to watch it all. All right, so now I want my handle to stay in the same brown tones, but I want to have it look a little bit different from the colors I put behind it. So I'm going to start with my color lifter. We're going to go over the top. I don't want to saturate it. I just want to have that base color down. Let it dry for just a smidge. And then I'm gonna go over it with my lighter. And you might not be able to see real well on video, but it is definitely a different shade than this one here. I can go in with my dark, kind of just into that area. And it just helps that handle pop a little bit more. It's very subtle. So like I said, you might not see it well on camera, but it is definitely different in real life. So give that a try. All right, now the next thing I'm gonna do is color my apples. Love these apples. I'm gonna use Real Red and Granny Apple Green. I'm gonna use the same exact coloring technique. So I'm gonna start with my dark and I'm gonna work one apple at a time. Don't have to worry about the bottom edge because it's gonna go into our basket. So hey friends, if you like what you're seeing so far, take 2 seconds to be sure to like and subscribe to my channel. All right, now we're ready to work with our leaves. I want to keep the leaves green, but I don't want them to be the same color green. I want them to stand out from our apples a little bit because like right here, they're touching. So I'm going to start with my lightest soft suede. And I'm going to go in and start with the soft suede and blend that out with my Granny Apple Green. You'll be able to see it's a little bit darker, but it's not like brown green. So this is also part of what I was teaching in Stamping Family. It's different ways of blending out different colors, how to know when to do it and when not to, and all that good stuff. If you're wanting to see the full supply list, make sure to look in the description. It's all listed out there, and also there's a link to my blog. And then, my friends, we are ready to put our card together. So I'm going to start with my basket, because everything's going to be based off of that. I'm going to go with dimensionals. I'm going to have my basket kind of overhang into my die cut background, like so. I'll take a couple more dimensionals. We're going to take our apples and slide them underneath. Super cute. And then for our sentiment, I want it to lay flat on my card. So behind the left-hand side, I'm going to use a dimensional. And behind the right-hand side, I'm just going to use some adhesive. We'll take this and we'll add it on top. And just like that, my friends, our card is complete. Look at this gem. I love this so much. And it didn't take a lot of supplies. We used one bundle and one die, one color of cardstock, and then the rest was white. A little bit of time coloring. You learned some fun tips today, I hope, with coloring, and some cutting out, and just like that, we're done. For a full list of the supplies I used to create this project, look down below. There's a link to my blog and I'll explain it all for you. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please make sure to like and subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Have a great day.